How about man who has an earring? Any man with an earring is cheating. I don't want to use the word cheating. So any man with an earring, his sexuality is heightened. He's more conscious about his physical appearance. He's trying to add extra ornaments. If you ask him the reason, he's going to tell you it's for ornamental purposes, for beauty. I just like it, But psychologically, it means that there are more than one woman in his life. I said it. Go and check it. Take it to the bank. Earring, more than one woman in his life. So I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but this is what it means psychologically. All right? Extra effort. Normally you're supposed to look good, look fine. But an extra effort to look like that, But most people that do that are usually musicians, people in entertainment, footballers, and most times men in their prime. If I was a musician, I would always put it to show people that I'm not normal, like there's an extra thing about me, you get. But at the same time, if you check his phone, he get another woman, but it is what it is. If you're not following me, please click this plus sign to follow me if you're watching on TikTok. Drop a comment if you believe or agree with what I said, and then make sure you share this video. Share it to that young man that's wearing earring. Tell him I said he's cheating. How many women does he have in his life? Now, like I said in the other video, what of women with earring? One earring is okay because it's cultural in most people. Even multiple earrings can be cultural in some cultures like India. But if it's not within the culture to put on multiple earrings and you see more than one earring on the lady, it simply means she has body dysmorphia. There's a part of the body that she doesn't like, or she doesn't believe is perfect. Most people can be perfect, but mentally they feel that they are deficient. Do you understand? So mentally the person might be struggling, but physically they are okay. So they think that their teeth is not good. Sometimes they do this with nose ring. So instead of the person doubling or tripling their earring, they put a nose ring. So the person might be feeling that their teeth is not good, or their nose is too much, so they want to balance it. Their nose is too big, too tiny, too curved, and so on. It's always something going on with the nose or mouth or the eyes. Their eyes are not focused in one direction, is not good, so they try to balance, they try to take away attention from it. Unfortunately, it just draws more attention to it. If your nose is too big, people may not notice, but once you put a ring there, now they know where to look at. And then it's not just the face, sometimes it's the ear. The ear is too big, so they try to balance it out by putting an extra ring on the nose. But also, adding a nose ring can be a sign of rebellion. All right? Sometimes the person, mostly because the person did not grow under their father. All right? Because as a male figure will usually stop that. That's just it. So if a woman puts it, mostly women, right? If a woman puts a nose ring, it means to an extent, sometimes, that there is a lack of a strong male figure. Either the father is sick, totally absent, or the father has gotten into a weaker position. She has entered a strong position. For instance, she now has her own job. She's living in her own place, strong, independent. You get what I'm saying? So now, she's no longer under the control of the father. Another thing it shows is that the marriage might be shaky. She's no longer with her husband, per se. So you need to get all these things in context. You get. So that's nose ring for you. Sometimes it also means that the front is flat. So she's having body dysmorphia of a flat front. So she tried to take away attention from it by putting nose ring. Or flat back. Nyash, flat nyash, try to take away attention. That is it. Another thing is having too many rings on the finger. When people have too many, there's something wrong with them. Why would you have so many rings? Unless you're a musician, there's cultural context, there's occupational context. A musician, for instance, might want to wear all those things to impress people. So when people are wearing so many rings, they are trying to make an impression. Why are you trying to impress me? Do you understand? 1, 2, 3, 4. Something's wrong with you, man. And if you are the type that wears so many rings, I will tell you, just cut it down. One ring is okay. All right? So many means that there is an emptiness in the life of the person. They are trying to show they are trying to portray a different view of them. It's too much. There's a specific type of nose ring. Have you ever seen that nose ring that stays here under? I've forgotten what they call it. This is sexual orientation. It shows sexual orientation. Whenever somebody puts this nose ring here, their orientation is not normal. It's not the regular straight orientation that they are telling you. This one has entered some rainbow color. Do you understand? So, many people will argue with this. It's okay to argue, but when you start observing, you'll start seeing what I'm saying. Dressing is also a sign of a lack of a strong male figure. When a lady dresses half way, you get what I'm saying? The clothing is not complete, doesn't fully cover her. If it only covers halfway, exposing a lot of body parts, it means there is a lack of a strong male figure in her life. Husband is missing, father is missing, senior brother is missing or not in control. Father is sick, bedridden at home, something like that. Once you see incomplete dressing in a woman, if you see incomplete dressing in a man, sexual orientation is not straight. A man wearing half shirt, trying to expose sexual orientation is not straight. I know I said it before, but if you see tattoos, most likely substance abuse. This one is scientifically proven. If you go to Google and type it, tattoos always signify some sort of mental imbalance, trauma. Usually when people go through trauma, some people react to that trauma by drawing the tattoo. Alright, now the tattoo is now permanent. It doesn't make sense to me to draw tattoo out of trauma. I'm not saying you shouldn't draw tattoo for your own reasons, it's okay. But if you're passing through trauma and you feel that you need to draw a tattoo, remember that tomorrow will come and that trauma will be past tense, but a tattoo doesn't go. Okay, if you are ever tempted to draw a tattoo, they are temporary tattoos. If you go to a tattoo shop and ask them for temporary tattoo, they have it. Some of them will last 2 months, 3 months before they wipe off. Alright? So now, when you're drawing tattoos, there's a difference between, there are 3 types of tattoos. The tattoos that make sense and the one that don't. If the tattoo doesn't make sense, alcohol abuse. Alright? At least at the point where they were taking the tattoo, if it doesn't make sense, it's alcohol abuse. If the tattoo is external, for instance, where the clothes expose, the face, the hands, alright, the legs, where it's exposed. If the tattoo is where it's exposed, it affects the income of the person by 29%. So on the average, people with exposed tattoos earn 29% lower because the rest of the people are judging them. This is, I'm telling you, is not how I judge people. Unfortunately, this is how people judge you if you have any of that. You understand? So it is proven scientifically, according to studies, especially in a place like US, that people that have exposed tattoos, their financial chances are jeopardized. People judge them and refuse to give them financial opportunities. For instance, giving them a job. You come for a job, you have tattoos like this. They will not call you back for interview. So before you draw that your boyfriend on your face, think about your life. You are still young, oh. You are still young. You don't know what tomorrow will be. Before you go and draw, I love Tosin. I love Dave Partner. Do you understand? You are still young. There's a certain celebrity today that drew the video on her chest. No person tell her make you change her. As she just increased in age, she had to go and erase it. I'm not saying it's wrong to draw the video. It's okay. Alright, it's your own decision. But it's an example of tattoos. They say 50% of people that draw tattoos, according to statistics, regret it within 1 year. They regret it. After drawing the tattoo, immediately you draw it, regret starts. Before you know it, you have changed I love Dave to flower, from flower to dragon, because the more you change it, the more you need to draw it. Tattoos can be addictive. You draw one thing today, it doesn't make sense, you draw another one, before you know it, almost. So, but you need to know that tattoo can be context sensitive. For instance, musicians may have to draw it to look a certain way to reflect the kind of art they are putting out, okay? Our ancestors did it for their own reasons, cultural, religious reasons, and so on. So, there are contexts to it. But in general, if you're ever going to draw a tattoo, don't let it be exposed. Just know that people will always judge you for it, especially as a lady. If you have tattoos on your body in a hidden part, people will always judge you. But it's different like when you are married. If you're married, you can draw your husband or your wife. All those things are not any problem. So thank you very much. Make sure you follow me, Dave Partner, on TikTok. Click this plus sign. Click this share button to share. People need to see this, especially young people. And click this comment button to comment.